Welcome to Every Film in the Book. This week on the show, we watched Atomic Blonde, a movie starring Charlize Theron where she's more badass than John Wick. And I gotta be honest, I only watched it for the lesbian scissoring.
Lesbian scissoring.
Dude, it's so good. It's like it's Black Swan all over again when you put two hot people in a movie and you let them go at it.
Yeah.
It's good filmmaking. Oscars all around. I don't know who directed this. Hold on. You guys talk while I...
I'm Danielle. We're supposed to introduce ourselves.
Yeah, introduce yourselves. Michael, say your name.
Nope.
That's Michael. And
Yeah, that's Michael. I'm Steven, of course. Everybody might know me from my famous works of starring in The Goonies back in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Quote me on that. It's fun.
70s, wow.
Yeah.
Older than I thought.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so we were kind of debating between this and The Transporter this week, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we decided on Atomic Blonde because we watched the trailer. And Steve was looking away, and at one moment I was just like, whoa. And he was like, oh yeah, is she like kicking ass? I was like, no, you have to look at this. And
She's apparently licking ass.
Yeah, she was fingering what's her name.
Oh my god, that was insane. But all right, so this movie's from 2017.
Yeah.
Directed by David Leitch.
Leech?
Yeah, he's sucking the blood out of everything. He's a leech.
Leech.
Yeah, Leitch. But yeah,
Leitch.
it's got basically everyone in it, like Charlize Theron, James McAvoy, John Goodman, Eddie Marsan. I didn't know what his name. I just know him from The Gentleman, and they make him.
Oh yeah.
They make him have sex with a pig.
I forgot about that.
Well, he's in any movie that involves British intelligence.
Yeah,
anybody.
no, like I didn't want to say it through the movie, like, hey, I know that guy. He fucked a pig in The Gentleman.
He fucked it.
But yeah, like,
Pennywise.
oh yeah, Pennywise, Hail Hydra, Toby Jones.
Yeah.
I forget his name in the Marvel series, but he's the frickin' computer. Oh, Zola.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
right.
the like Nazi computer and.
Wait, he was in The Mist? Oh, right. He was the store clerk.
All right. Well,
But
anyway.
yeah, they got everybody's in this movie.
Well, anyway.
And it was basically like a female James Bond,
Yeah.
but like more actiony.
Right. Like you kind of said something about John Wick. I thought I literally had a thought about John Wick during this movie because the way they do it in Atomic Blonde is so, like, everything feels really real, like, timing-wise, and, you know, when someone gets hit, you see the full length of how long it takes for them to stand back up again, and, like, reloading their guns, and there's a moment where she just beat everybody up, she's exhausted, and she's, like, searching in people's pockets for ammo because she picked up a gun but it was empty and she's trying to find something because she's all out of ammo. Like, all of those moments were so different than something like John Wick, where, like, everything goes so fast and he's just always ready to shoot someone in the face, you know? Like, you don't you don't get as many of those moments that it feels really real.
Yeah,
so.
it's much more visceral just because you're not going to get a perfect reload 18 times in a row.
Right.
Someone's
Right.
going to punch you in the teeth while you're trying to do something else.
Dude,
and it's
that's
gonna
so
throw you
weird. They
off.
can't wait until I'm done reloading before they punch me in
No.
the teeth.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. These
You would
Russians.
think they would, right?
Yeah.
The German Russians. The Russians that are
So
German.
wait, all right. I just
East
need to
and
make
West
this
Berlin.
clear before we get into this movie.
Yeah.
Were the Russians involved at all?
No.
No.
Then, okay.
So
That changes my entire...
So Steve thought that we were in, like, 10 different places in Europe this
Okay,
whole time.
listen, I gotta be honest.
either side of the wall, the
Of
whole
Berlin,
film.
yes.
I don't know. I'm gonna admit this, and I'm gonna feel really stupid. For some reason, I thought Berlin was in Russia.
What?
Because
Steve.
they kept saying Soviet, so like I thought, oh well, maybe they built a wall in Russia too.
No, it's just the wall in Germany.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, see, good. We're learning things on the show. It's a good
Right.
thing.
I
Good
thought you
experience.
knew more about Germany and the
Listen,
wars.
I listened to
Like-
3 books on World War II history. Not once did they mention a wall.
Well, that's because this is in 1985.
All right. Well, it's not
40 years
topical.
later.
Yeah, there was no.
There's quite a bit of time.
Listen, ask me about World War II facts. I might have an answer. But
Alright, well-
this whole
This
Russian German thing, I'm a little confused on.
Yeah, well, so we start in London, and then we go to Berlin, and then, like Michael said, it's just East and West Berlin.
So they're
and
just
then at the
hopping
end,
walls.
yeah, and
the
then
whole
at the
time?
end they go to Paris, and then that's it.
All right, so
So those are the only
apparently I
places
missed
we-
a lot in this movie because I thought they were in like 13 different places
Yeah, no.
all throughout Europe. But no, okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So to be clear, like East and West Berlin was like one was trying to be freer and the other one was communist. So
Right.
it is Russian influenced. That's why that happened. But,
Oh,
like,
right, because
but it-
Russia got a piece of Germany.
in the
right?
film, they weren't the problem. It was the problem was covering up information about British intelligence, American intelligence,
Well, see,
and then the German intelligence.
What got me
So he's
confused
trying to
was
cover
she
something
kept
up.
mentioning the Soviets.
Yeah, so that's the communism.
Yeah, so like that's why I thought Russia was involved.
But that was why the wall got there.
That's what. Oh right. Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that-
Because they're splitting the communists
Right,
from the.
right.
Okay. All right.
And they put
all
a
right.
wall up, and they're like, "Well,
Yeah,
you
because
can stay
didn't
over
we
there."
split Germany after World War II? Like Russia got some, we got some.
I don't know the
England got
timeline,
some.
but that's why people were escaping. Like
Yeah,
to
they
the
were
east
escaping.
side, yeah.
Okay. All right. So now
Away
that we got
from
our
the
history
communism.
lesson out of the way.
Away from the communism is
Yeah.
normally where people go. Away from communism,
Right. Right.
just typically. It's just technically that's how it goes.
we
People leave.
hate. I almost said we hate movies.
Yeah.
Oh my
hate
god!
movies.
Cut that out.
We hate movies. We hate movies that make Steve use his brain.
Oh my god, dude, this is terrible. But yeah, Danielle, do you wanna start us where we're opening from?
Sure.
if you can read my shitty notes.
Oh, geez, I don't know if I'm gonna look at your notes. So,
Definitely, not. Definitely don't look at Steve's notes.
so we start with what seems to be a random dude in underwear running around, right?
Yeah. Now, who is this guy? I kind of missed who this guy was.
the guy in the underwear.
Yeah, in the beginning, who
I have
who
no
got hit by the
idea.
car? And he's like,
that's
"You are
glass. That's Glasscon.
That was
That was
okay. So
him
that was
getting
the
killed.
glass.
He takes his watch. And that
and
was
he's
the
like-
watch to the watch.
Yeah,
to
and the
watch.
Russian's like, "You are the biggest cunt in the KGB."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then
That's
the
kind of something Cajun.
the KGB guy comes in and shoots what's his name, Glass.
Yeah, because
Fuck.
he hits him with
Glass
a freaking
fuck.
car.
Yeah, he hits him with the car.
Yeah,
and
this
then
was-
pins him to the car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pins
Pushes
to the car.
him and the other car down the street
Yeah.
a bit, and then gets out, talks a little shit, shoots him in the head,
Yeah.
throws him off the bridge.
I will say, this guy's a bad guy because he didn't leave a note on the car that he hit. So,
No, no,
no insurance
Yeah.
information was was shared in this transaction.
And I just gotta say, I was pretty confused most of this movie as to what the overall point was.
Yes. Okay. All
So, like, I don't really know how all of this connects and what the reason was.
I
So
explain.
I'm sure
I
Michael's
explain.
Yeah.
Michael's
I'll explain
gonna
later.
put in his two
Explain
cents.
as we go along
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
He's gonna be able to
Yeah.
say
Throw in
everything.
some Michael.
They did make a point to show her traveling there in an airplane, which means she wasn't somewhere from driving distance, which
Right.
is the original.
Oh.
Does she really work for the Brits because their land touches?
Well,
Yeah.
Germany,
see, that's why I was confused because all right, so
She
after
was
we
drinking on the plane more than 2 hours.
So after we see this guy get shot, we cut to what is it? Charlize Theron. She's sitting in a room. She's all messed up. Like she's
She's taking
doing
an ice
the ice
bath.
bath.
yeah, she's doing an ice bath. Like we can kind of tell you're at the end of her story. Like I don't think they would start your main hero all battered up like this.
Right.
Except for tons of other movies that do that.
Yeah, but then they always cut to
Like 3 weeks later after
3 weeks
they've
ago.
healed her.
Yeah.
But this one literally said 10 days later.
Yeah. So, well, you know, back in time.
Back in time.
Back in
Yes,
time.
back in time.
Yeah, so this movie is all told through Charlize Theron getting interviewed about her mission.
Her debriefing.
Her debrief.
Joint debriefing.
And this is MI6?
By the MI6
Yeah,
guy
so-
and the CIA
And
guy.
she makes
And
it
then-
a point that she doesn't want the CIA involved.
Right.
Right.
But now I'm more confused, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I have that answer too.
But yeah, like while she's in her apartment, like after the ice bath and all that, she picks this like picture up out of her like sock drawer. Everybody
Yes.
keeps their sentimentals in their sock drawer.
Yeah, under the socks.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she lights it on fire, and I guess that's
It was a
gas
picture
coin?
of the gas coin. Yeah.
So she doesn't want any ties with this gas
she
coin
can't
guy.
because she's a spy, and they were having a personal relationship. That's who he was talking. It's meant for you to believe that he's talking to her under that sheet,
Oh, okay.
and the sheet signifies the secrecy, along with not showing who he's
Right.
sleeping with.
Now, I made a very important note here. This is a part in the movie, Charlize Theron, after she's established, getting debriefed and all that, she's smoking a cigarette. Michael says, "I've never wanted to be a cigarette so bad in my life."
Yep. Yep.
Something about a battered up lady putting you between her lips.
It's just something about her.
And it's a theme in this movie where you could literally play a drinking game with how many times they're smoking a cigarette.
But we don't recommend playing a drinking game with
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you will die.
unless
Yeah,
you're
you'll probably
within
die.
walking distance of urgent care.
toilet,
Yeah.
urgent care, yeah.
Better have the ambulance on speed dial if
Yeah.
you decide to play this
They're
game.
expensive. Walk to the urgent care.
Yeah, call an Uber. That's
Yeah.
probably cheaper in the long
Maybe
run.
like go to the emergency room, start the drinking game.
Drink on the way to.
Yeah. Preemptively call the Uber.
We're
Start
gonna
drinking
pregame
in
the
backseat.
hospital. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, perfect,
Let's
perfect.
go.
So after she's smoking her cigarette and all that, she's just walking. I assume, I wrote she's apparently walking to work because it's our opening credits, so I'm assuming she's going
Right,
in for
on the
her
way.
job.
Yeah, and they have that opening credit scene that's kind of more old school, and how it's like, the credits are right in the middle of that opening in the
Right.
movie, where modern movies these days don't usually have credits like that. Like they put everything at the end.
Right.
Yeah, they
but
kinda
this was
just-
like James Bondy.
Yeah, like
you
they
know?
just kind of put the title of the movie up on the screen, and then we're
Yeah.
into the movie. This actually took the time, put the credits, people
Right.
involved, all that.
Yep.
It was pretty nice, and it was all that spray paint kind of
Yeah.
texture.
Wow, the 1985.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very
graffiti
80s.
style.
Very, very 80s with everything from obviously they're gonna put them in a setting and the time that they're
Yeah.
in, but the music and everything.
I literally should have made a note waiting for London Calling to be played because apparently anytime Britain's involved, London Calling has to be played
Yeah.
over the fucking boombox. But yeah, so she's sitting in getting debriefed, and she's being interviewed by, I called him Hail Hydra and John Goodman ? Because I couldn't see John Goodman right off the bat.
He was halfway hidden.
Yeah, he was kind of in shadow, but I saw the pudgy face and the beard, and I was like, that's John
Which
Goodman.
is another distrust film thing, is introducing a character
snap.
half hidden is a two-faced character.
No, that's it. Okay.
Come on, it's classic
All
drama.
right, no,
Classic drama.
that's good. That's
the two masks.
that's
right
scary
there.
spy stuff, hide him in the shadows.
Yeah.
Right.
He's the secret puppet man. Oh, I just spoiled the movie.
Secret puppet. The puppet man, you were meant to distrust him because of the glass.
Yeah.
And then they let you know that she distrusts him because she talks about him and looks at him through the glass, even though she can't see him. She looks over at that guy sitting behind the glass.
Yeah,
a lot.
who I
throughout
thought
the
was
disposition.
Putin. Apparently,
It was not Putin.
It was not.
because I thought this was Russian.
Yeah.
I thought she was a Russian spy.
They literally put the names of where we
Putin
are.
started his political
every time.
career off way better than
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're interviewing about this mission that apparently we saw the aftermath of, like her getting out of the ice bath, her all battered and bruised, and coming to work. So she's getting debriefed on that. But all right, so I do need to ask. So John Goodman is her actual boss?
So she flies to there in a similar, like she flies there on a passenger jet,
Right.
and comes back private.
Okay.
So it's like that's who she works for.
And
she was the last guy she gave the watch ended up in his pocket.
Yeah.
They made a point of showing each pocket the watch went into,
Right.
or at least the taking of the watch.
Yeah, because
each
it was
time,
just
the first glass cone, he took the watch off,
right.
put it in his pocket, then threw him over the bridge, and then a couple
Right.
others, and then who she ended up framing as Satchel. You see him take the watch. He goes. The guy who
Okay.
had it from killing Glascone went to the watchmaker.
Okay.
And then
So they
he
kinda
flips
showed
it as like a that. It's it. Nobody played with it. They just looked at it and put it in their pocket. And he plays with it and puts it in his pocket. So
Right,
he knows
'cause he
it's
knows-
done.
okay.
He knows it's done.
But yeah, because like she calls him a cocksucker under her breath, so I was just like, oh, she must not like this guy
Right.
because he works for the CIA, and she's making it a big point that, oh, I don't want the CIA involved. They always meddle about my business.
Right. And she does a good job of not. She gave her, or who thinks she works for them, she gave MI6 the chance to be like, well, he can leave. Full knowing that they're still
that
going to hear it because
Right.
she knows the other guy behind the glass is CIA, you know.
Okay.
So, so little things like that were helpful in figuring
Yeah.
out who
Well-
goes with who type.
Well,
thing.
once we get to the end of this, I'm gonna have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
it totally confused me.
I have a
man.
lot of questions too, but more of like I feel like I still don't understand the whole point, like I was saying.
Yeah,
before.
like, okay. So as we open up, like I said at the top, we kind of find out this is all told through like a flashback. It's her interview, and she's telling her story of how things went wrong or how things went right. We don't really know
they
yet.
record the audio of what happened in the
Yeah, in
previous
this
telling of
interview
events,
room.
and we get to see the visual.
Yeah, so
of
we're
what
seeing the
happened.
retelling of
Yeah.
her story.
Yeah, 'cause she wears a wire through everything. And there are those moments where, like, they use music a lot to cover up violence or, like,
Yeah.
information being withheld. So, like, that's kind of her way to, like, she knows the whole time, I'm gonna be, I'm recording this, and I'm gonna have to listen to this back with,
Yeah.
Her
playing the
superiors. or
player
whatever.
who's playing the player.
Right.
Yeah,
So
there
worked
were-
for the original
Yeah, she
player.
already planned that out before
This
you
was
started.
this was a true crisscross applesauce with how many
Oh, yeah.
people
Oh, yeah.
getting crisscrossed.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so we find out that this James Gascoigne guy is pretty important. He has this big list. I guess it's like all undercover agents.
I would assume.
It seems like it must be pretty important because if it gets out, everybody's gonna die.
Yeah, it's a list of
apparently.
agents. Every
Okay.
spy movie
Yeah, it seems like
ever
every spy
made has
movie
had a list of agents almost get leaked and people die. And now it's a
fuck.
movie. Yeah.
If only we had.
If only
the
they
clean
didn't
slate.
make lists
Yeah.
of their agents and put it on the same fucking
you
piece
would
of
think
paper.
that after a certain point, people would stop listing
No
their
more.
agents on
On
downloadable
paper.
files.
Can't
Right.
have all the agents on the same payroll sheet.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
Well, it's kind of like how like high class escorts will have like a list
Oh
of
my God.
clients,
Yeah, they don't keep all the names in the same
Yeah,
file.
but like that list, it's so what?
How do you know what high class escorts
I
keep?
don't know. It was in a movie or something to watch.
Oh my god. All
What?
right, I want to sign up for this list.
No, it's like that's their business, and if that gets out, a lot of people get in trouble.
Ooh,
Because
we're
those
gonna
are
get.
the ones fucking whores.
Wait, shit! This is from a movie. What did we just watch? Where they're trying to get the whore list?
The whore list.
What did we just
What?
watch? We all were here watching this.
Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, they're trying to get the, whore list.
From the escorts? I don't know. We'll have to
Oh
think
my
about
god!
it.
All right, if anybody knows, please write a comment. Anything. I need to know what the whore list is
The
from.
whore list. Was it a Criminal Minds episode? Maybe. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a
It
Criminal
is a
Minds.
criminal. Okay.
Okay.
All right, we
I
figured
wasn't
it
here
out.
for that.
All right.
thing.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
all
no.
right. You
I
weren't
didn't
here
watch
for that one.
absolute garbage.
No, all right. We're not going to talk about Criminal Minds
No.
right now. So yeah, he has this watch apparently that has this list engraved in it, which has every known secret agent, who they're doubling as, and this is terrible business practice.
It has
Yeah.
coded information.
Their HR department is going to have a fit after they find out.
So
all
that's
this.
what she was taking apart, right? And
She
there
was taking apart the watch.
Yeah, she was
and
taking
there
apart
was
the
the
watch.
code in the watch.
Right, like every little piece of like there was like gears in the back that she was pulling apart out.
Taking
of the
apart a
watch.
watch.
It's,
Yeah,
it's almost like
it was engraved on them.
it's kind of like the John Wick currency, where like they trade in these gold coins. This
Except you don't
underground
take
spy
apart
network.
the gold coins
Well,
to
no.
make a book.
What I was saying is this underground spy network deals in these
Symbolism
watches.
of currency.
Like they get their information through watches instead of selling gold coins. I don't know. They're not leprechauns.
That's just bad. It's just bad.
Because they're
I
Russian.
don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's just bad.
At this point in the movie, we're introduced to James McAvoy, or Professor X, as I call him.
What? Just because he's shaved his head?
Yeah.
Defining actors by a singular role. Oh,
Listen, he wasn't in a
terrible.
wheelchair, so I was a little concerned. He
got better.
He could kill us with his mind if he wanted to. But yeah, after he gets introduced, he's apparently what, a British undercover agent as well.
So
What is he?
He's
at the beginning of
German.
this?
He is German. Yes.
He's German.
He's
Then why does he
working
speak
for-
British?
He speaks British. So he's a German in citizenship and paperwork, working for MI6. He's their golden boy.
Oh, okay. So he's like a defector from Germany.
No?
No?
Yeah, that's how they
Yes?
get him. That's how they get him.
But then why does he have a British accent? Or does he
I-
not have a British
he doesn't
accent?
have a-
Did he not have a
No.
British
No,
accent?
He's
He was speaking in German, and the rest of the
Well, I
time
mean,
it
so was
sounded-
she, but she had a
they
British
can
accent.
they can all be different people, but he was a spy that
Okay, so he was
Yeah, so
a
he's
German citizen
giving in
who
or-
turned to MI6.
probably not a citizen because he couldn't have learned all that in a year.
Okay.
Right.
So he already had that kind of training. So they worked for like either side of the wall had their own intelligence,
Okay.
and he worked for the other.
So he worked.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, he was just.
this whole time when she goes on this mission, she knows she has connections in Berlin, but that is also something that confused me because. I mean, obviously, it seems like it was set up for her.
Right.
But, like, at the same time, she's trusting of somebody who comes and picks her up in a car.
Yeah.
And, like, she just
Even after being
immediately
told
trusts
not to
them.
Well,
trust
she-
anyone.
Right, so, like,
Don't
she
trust
wasn't
anyone.
she wasn't
Yeah.
briefed on who she was meeting, and she didn't really know.
expecting all this
Right.
because
Yeah. So.
She
all right.
set this all up for
There's
herself.
one thing about being like a super smart. Oh my god. Super smart spy. It's a lot of S's.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
And then there's like this like crazy clairvoyance apparently she has, because at the end of this movie it seems like she knew all this was going to happen, but yet she's falling in. Like the first thing she does when she touches ground, she's fighting these German or KGB soldiers who
That picked her up.
already know her identity.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't understand how she's like this super spy, but everybody knows her identity.
Well, she's a super spy because she can do that on purpose and get the job done and keep it a secret, because at no point does either side of the wall, the communists, MI6, they don't know that she's on the plane with the CIA going home.
Right.
So, the that's why she looked to the MI6 guy in the debriefing room. She's like, hey, because the whole point of the movie is there's a double agent somewhere and they're trying to find out who it is.
Oh, okay.
And it's an MI6 agent
one of
who's the
them.
double agent.
Okay, all right.
So she looks to him like, hey, this is sensitive to us
Right.
Right.
because
I,
she's working for MI6.
Yeah, I feel like
Whatever.
it took me a while to pick up on all of that.
Yeah. I was too distracted waiting for the action.
Yeah,
that
like,
I kind of missed out some of
They
the
give you
details.
that action scene in the beginning, with the car and she's shooting people in the face and shit. And then it's like, you know, a lot of setting it up. She's going and talking to people and they're kind of establishing characters. So, like, that whole thing does feel kind of slow. At least I thought it did, but it is giving a lot of information. You just have to kind of sit through it and pay attention.
Yeah, so basically, after all of our main players are introduced, we now have James McAvoy, Professor X, using his telekinesis all over this place. She ends up flying to West Berlin, which apparently I thought was East Germany. Or, no, East Russia.
East Russia.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, so she flies to Berlin, and she's getting escorted. I think she ends up having to fight people. I think this is when the Russians, or the KGB people, pick her up from the airport.
Yeah, isn't that what we were just talking about?
Yeah, alright, so we were just talking about that. Alright, so she beats ass. She kicks a guy out of a car. It's pretty cool. Gives him some mad road rash.
Unbuckles the other guy, then proceeds to wreck that car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucks
Oh yeah,
his day
she unbuckles his seatbelt and buckles hers.
Yeah.
And steers the car into like a wall
The
or
Jersey
something.
barrier.
Yeah, she Harvey Dented them.
And flips the car over so
Yeah,
that she can
yeah.
escape. And then behind her
anyone gets
is
that
Professor
reference.
X. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's following her because he was supposed to pick her up.
Yeah. So we cut back. They're back in the interview room, and we're all just admitting, yeah, we're off to a rough start. Like, things didn't go as she thought. And John Goodman's still like, well, no, I want to hear more. Also, I was involved in finding King Kong.
Oh, jeez. But, he wasn't following her because he was supposed to pick her up. He was following her. He was following her to
Was he not?
see if she died.
Oh.
Because then he can keep being a rat fuck.
Oh, yeah,
and
was
nobody's
this-
coming to check up on him.
So
he's
this whole
not-
time he was trying to get her killed.
Yeah,
basically.
the whole
Oh.
time.
So this was all
Well-
The Departed throughout the whole
Everyone's a rat!
thing. Ah!
Oh, yeah, it's the spy game.
Check out episode 2 of Epic Film and Book, where we talk about The Departed. Anyway.
Yeah, that's why he was always either there before she got there or there after something happened.
So you're saying Miles
Right.
Kennefic got killed by James McAvoy?
Yeah, kind of.
We're crossing dimensions. It's the multiverse
No.
between The
Of me-
Departed and
No.
Atomic Blonde.
Stupid movie.
The multiverse of Germany.
There was only
the
two of them.
multiverse of Germany.
Apparently, it's Steve's multiverse of Russia because
Everything takes place in Russia.
Yeah.
So we cut to the scene. This, I don't know if they're KGB or German, but they're shaking down this pack of street youths who were dancing in the tunnels the other night.
They were partying,
They were
Yeah.
partying.
So basically, we're in Footloose
but it
town.
was 7 dudes that were partying.
Yeah,
So
no
they got
women
beat up.
involved, so it's a little confusing.
They got beat up because they throw terrible parties, not because there was
No one came to your party. We must take you out.
Yeah, and then he's like, you, step forward.
He's like, oh, you like to ride the wheelie boards. I see. I will now beat you with your passion.
He didn't
Yeah,
say
yeah.
any of this.
Picks
No,
up a
He
skate-
just made the guy dance
Oh yeah, he did.
and
he made him
explained
dance.
the
Yeah, I-
significance of 2 unwanted guests
Yeah.
at that party.
And this is like,
I literally wrote bust a move discount Orlando Bloom.
and this is one of those moments where they use music, basically to cover up the violence that
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
about to do. And you kind of get that anytime music is turned up for any reason, you're like, all right, what's gonna happen now? Like, something.
It's like, all right, who's getting their ass
Increase
kicked?
in intensity.
Yeah. And then continues to beat this kid literally to death with a
Oh,
skateboard.
he killed him with a skateboard.
Oh,
100%.
Ouch.
100%.
All because he could ollie better than him.
All
Like,
because
this
he
is
was-
some petty stuff. You work this out on the playground, not at the skate park, you know?
Absolutely not. He was an agent of a government sending a message that we know traitors were here. They're trying to root out a traitor, which is much different than,
Yeah, but that
just-
kid wasn't a traitor, though. He just beat him to death
Okay, so
fun.
you obviously you kill an innocent to prove that you're serious about something.
Yeah,
they
but
never
you're not-
kill someone important.
But
to
you're
go, they
always
kill an
innocent until
person.
proven guilty.
No,
So what's the
none
point?
of this took place in America.
Not in Soviet Russia.
In Soviet Russia, guilty until proven guilty.
It was only in Germany. It was only,
It was
only
in Germany. Okay.
It was only Germany in the whole
All right,
film.
listen.
Yeah.
We all know Germany doesn't have the best track record. All right.
Well, yeah, there's a quote about that.
Yeah, there's a quote about that later. We all know what Germany did. We're not going to talk about it because we don't want to take a political stance.
What do you mean? I think everyone can assume what side we're on.
Germany
Jeez.
was wrong.
You're gonna think we're all a bunch of freaking Nazis here. Jesus, what do you mean?
My God. All right, so they beat up Discount Orlando Bloom. We get introduced to one of our villains. All I wrote was blonde hair, black eyebrows, Jesus. This guy had a look to him. She meets one of the bad guys. He just has slick back hair
The boss
and dark
fight
black.
in the building.
Yeah, where
Yes.
she
It's
puts the key through his
final-
cheek.
Yes.
That guy with his
final
blonde
boss
hair and
fight.
black eyebrows. I was very concerned. Like,
Well,
he didn't pick a
he
style.
was the antithesis of her.
Right.
They were both blondes. She was a woman. He was a man. And they were the
She
opposites.
had
And they
white
crap.
eyebrows. He had black eyebrows.
It had
so
nothing to do with the eyebrows.
It was like the light side and the dark side. He had the high ground.
He just-
But the oh yeah, here it is. The quote that we have is Germans don't make small mistakes.
They only make really, really
Only
big ones.
Only big
that they have to pay millions of dollars for.
Millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
What about the
They had to
millions
pay
of
to-
lives?
They had to
dude?
pay
Well,
to
I'm-
rebuild cities.
I mean, those are
I'm
unpaid.
sorry.
Was expensive.
I thought. Never mind. I thought the biggest tragedy was.
Well,
lives
we're not
lost.
debating that.
Jeez.
That is definitely the
Right.
biggest tragedy. It still doesn't change the fact they had to pay millions of dollars.
Anyway,
Who cares about
Anyway,
their
Holy
fucking-
we all find out that
Holy
Charlize
fuck.
Theron, our atomic blonde, had a relationship with this James. What was his last
Gascoigne.
name? Gascoigne.
Through floaty
Bitcoin.
memories.
Yeah, through floating memories.
In-
We're kind of like shown these flashbacks of them fooling around under the sheets.
There was no fooling. He literally was still and said secrets.
All right, why else
Gee
are you
whiz.
under the blankets if you're not fooling around?
They
It's a
were done
movie.
fooling
That's how
around.
they show it. Because for some reason, everybody has sex under the cover, literally under the covers. Their heads are covered and everything.
Lesbian sex scene, no covers.
Yeah, you
Just
gotta
saying.
show
'Cause
the
that-
just
lesbian
saying.
sex scene.
Yeah, you
Inconsistent
have to
here.
put that on film. That's,
Inconsistent.
Wait, what are we talking about with the covers over whose head?
no, so,
Glasscoin and
yeah,
Atomic Blonde.
the Gascoigne and Atomic Blonde are shown that they had a relationship through these like flashbacks, and they're always shown underneath covers, like rolling around and talking to each other.
I didn't even notice that. To
Yeah,
be
it's-
completely honest,
like
There was no roll. There was very short.
They were
There was
rolling
no
around.
it was like a
rolling.
clip.
it was like a roll in the hay.
The sheet was billowing to.
Okay.
Yeah, they were
Whatever,
billowing,
whatever.
whatever. But anyway, so now that this villain is introduced and our Atomic Blonde is investigating, I think, this James Gascoigne's apartment for trying to see if he has the list, and she's also looking for this double agent that we find out through this interview that they apparently knew was involved. But she ends up beating ass with a garden hose. Like, she's...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like...
So I was gonna say that's one of those cool moments where she uses something from the environment that will work for her advantage. Like Michael brought this up from the beginning, before we even sat down and watched this movie, that, you know, in a lot of action films,
Ugh.
the girls who are fighting get away with a lot and they beat up the giant dudes that it's basically impossible that would happen.
Yeah.
And
In a fist fight.
yeah,
The gun is the ultimate equalizer. Even
Right.
a knife, you've got a chance, but he's still got to bleed for a good while.
right.
But
But in a fist fight,
6'6", 280. Me and Steve are getting our asses beat.
right? Like, I mean, I am no freaking fighter, martial artist, or anything, but I can't imagine trying to do that. Like, I know there's, like, powerful women out there or whatever, and, like, that's great. But, not always realistic that you're
Still
gonna take down...
6'8", 280.
Even,
So...
like, it's just insane, like, to see some of the, like... Because, like, don't get me wrong, I like seeing a woman beat the shit out of people as much as anyone else.
Yeah, and she's got good, like, muscle definition
like,
in her arms
she's
and-
going ham. Like,
Yeah,
she's
not
tossing these
soft
people
by
around
any-
like
no,
a
she's not
freaking
soft
pizza.
by any means,
Right, but it's her skill and, you know, thinking everything out that
Yeah.
gets her that advantage.
And-
Whereas, like, the guys just come charging at her because that's all they know to do is use their force.
It's brute
Well,
force versus brain.
the dumb
Right.
ones
Yeah.
that are getting paid less to be, you know, in their spy ring.
Right.
You know, the underpaid ones.
They don't
rush
get the
in
medical benefits.
Yeah, they just punch.
They're
That's
just
all they know.
brutes, and that's what they're for. And
Yeah.
you know, the movie makes you put her above that skill level
Right.
immediately with the
Yeah.
guy with the goons in the car.
Yeah.
And the goons in the car get more than one chance at her, and they never learn from their whatever.
Right.
More and more of them keep dying. Like
Yeah.
they
Every
sent
time she
4,
fights.
well, only 3 of them are in the next group that comes to get her.
Right.
Yeah, so with this hose, like, she puts half of it over her, and then she has, you know, the other half of it, and it's all coiled up, and she's using that to, like, hook over their heads and, like, pull them by the neck or, like, trip them up.
She
and...
whipped the dude in the balls.
Yeah.
She fucking donkey punched this dude with a garden hose.
Yeah, like, with the metal, like, end of it,
Yeah,
too.
just right in the balls. Oh
Whipped them
my
in the balls. I think
God.
she got 2 of them in the balls, actually.
Oh yeah. No,
And then
she
one
was-
of them in the face.
Work with what you got.
Yeah, I don't blame her. I would be punching straight balls.
Yeah.
Another reason why, you know, it shows that she's in on it from the beginning is her escape tool was her weapon.
Yeah.
So she had already planned that as her escape
right.
tool and tied it around somebody's neck to be able to get out because
Right.
she knew that building ahead of time and knew that if she had to be there, that's the only way to get out.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the quickest way to
snap.
the ground.
And
See-
another cool thing that she did before in the
Yeah.
car is she used her high heel. She used the heel of it to, like, you know, smash it into the dude's face or whatever.
Yeah, like she's very good with like environmental fighting. Like she uses her surroundings to her advantage. I'm like, that's something we kind of see with John Wick. Only his surroundings are just the gun
Well,
in his hand.
The well-trained,
Yeah.
everything's a weapon. That's,
Yeah, like
what
I
they're taught.
love
Everything's a
seeing
weapon.
our heroes like almost invincible, but they still take a beating.
Oh,
like
yeah.
even John Wick still takes a beating. Even Neo still takes a beating. Like they're not these invincible people, but they almost seem like they're taking a beating, but like nobody can actually take them down.
Right.
Like it's a cool
Calmness
it's a cool
and
thing
the
to
presence
see.
of mind works even against a group.
Yeah, like
just because
her
they're
using
keeping
her
their head.
brain against these guys like just dumb muscle, like, and she always seems to
Dumb
come
muscle.
out on top.
Right.
Like we even have written here, like she's a very smart fighter. Like she, like Michael said, she's going against this guy, probably 6 foot tall, 260 pounds. She beats him with a freaking step ladder to
she
immobilize him.
hits him in the head with a ladder, and then
It's pretty cool.
she tosses that the shelving unit down
Oh,
on
yeah.
top of him.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
god, I don't
not
know what
only
this
does-
guy did, but he got it the worst.
Not only
Gets
did she
smushed.
hit him, did she disoriented him, and then gave him an obstacle before he can continue chasing because she needed to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that wasn't a I need to kill moment. This was a I need to get out of here moment.
Yeah, it was just like a quick.
And
Hey,
when
sit
she
down
needed,
for a second.
When she needed to put an end to somebody, there was no hesitation.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, no, she went hard.
Several times when she had a firearm, the fights ended much quicker.
Yeah, because she was doing headshots.
Just shooting people in the face, and or she'd get a couple shots. Like they'd shoot each other at range, then get in close.
Right.
Barrels get muddled up. Nobody really gets a shot off, and then you see her collecting firearms at the end, which is another.
She's
another
always kind
good
of
thing. It's like,
restocking her ammo.
Okay, I would rather not fist fight again. Let me find the clip for
Yeah,
this.
no,
pistol.
like I mean, the beating she gets, like I wouldn't want to fist fight either.
She takes a ton of damage.
but yeah, so
Realistically, though, like
Oh, yeah.
she didn't go
Oh,
through
yeah.
walls. but she broke some furniture.
Yeah, she
Like
was
a
thrown
small
into
coffee
mirrors
table,
and pictures.
Glass breaks,
Yeah.
shelves break, but nothing over the top where, the guy throws her through a wall.
Right.
That
Right,
would've
like
been
she's
plaster
not like
back in
breaking
the-
her ribs every
Right.
2 seconds.
But just to fast forward through the plot a little bit, so she's doing more investigative work. We're finding out more that there probably is this double agent. We're trying to suspect who it is. The more we find out about this Jason Gascoigne guy or whatever his name was.
Well, they have a name for the satchel. Is the
Yeah.
double agent.
Yeah, so we find out that there's this new player called Satchel, and he's apparently feeding information, and we don't know who this Satchel is. I even have written, like, who the hell is Satchel? We keep talking about him, but nobody's showing him.
But
Yeah,
they
it's just
they
like-
don't even hint at who
Yeah.
it is. They don't show you any clips of a shadowy figure or
Right.
a handwritten note or a,
Yeah, it's just like this like cover name or something.
Yeah.
just a handle, and that's it.
It's like 007, but stupid because it's Satchel.
because it's Satchel.
Is this where she runs into the lady?
Yeah, so this is where she runs into her love interest. Lady in red on a motorcycle.
I don't know if I'd say love interest though, more of just like sexual.
I mean,
release.
she seems pretty upset later on, but
Yeah.
maybe they're not in love. I don't know. Maybe she just was like, "Oh man, that was the
they
best."
they
I've
can't
ever
be.
gotten."
She died.
Yeah.
Well, spoiler alert. We haven't gotten to her death
You
yet.
shouldn't get halfway through this podcast without
Yeah, without
you know what I'm
watching
saying?
Atomic
Without,
Blonde.
watching the title movie.
But yeah, so we get introduced to this character. She's shown taking pictures. It seems like she's kind of trying to investigate this crime as well, or at least these people as well involved.
She
throughout
looks like
this.
a journalist.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's
basically.
carrying a camera the whole time.
It's not very well hidden. And
Right.
then you
Yeah.
you find out this is her first out of jurisdiction mission.
Yeah.
She got in it for the like they connect obviously.
Right.
You know.
Because they have this confrontation at a bar where it seems like they're about to like hook up, but Charlize Theron finds a gun in her tucked in
Why
her
the
like
gun
skirt.
shoves her up against the wall.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we find out that this girl is French intelligence, and this is like her first mission out, trying to, do this whole espionage thing, and she's like scared out of her mind and all that. And I will say this was the best part of the movie. 10,
Yeah,
10
so-
out of 10 stars.
They fuck anyway, even though.
Oh yeah, they're going at it like hamsters in a wheel.
It was like the fingering from behind thing.
Oh my god, this was if Black Swan had balls and showed
Yeah.
more.
There were nipples. We
There
saw a
are
lot of
nipples aplenty in this movie,
Yeah.
and it's almost you kind of get desensitized to them after a
What?
little bit.
No,
they
they were
show
all
so
great.
many titties.
Yeah, but they were all great.
They're all fancy, and they
They
were
were
all.
all perfectly shaped.
It all seemed when she was going into an ice bath, and they were able to cut glass.
Yeah, Steve's like taking notes, and we're like, Steve, are you
Yeah.
even looking at the
Do you
at
see the
nips
nipples?
right now?
Taking notes the whole movie. What did I say? He missed all the nipples and all the headshots
Yeah.
of the film from
Oh.
writing down the notes.
Yeah, we're always going like, oh, and he's like,
for
what?
an
What?
action movie called Atomic Blonde, he's writing notes and missing headshots and titties.
I wanted to make sure we knew where we were going
yeah,
with
in
it.
Atomic Blonde.
Well, listen, the plot is
we're
very
looking for
important.
headshots.
It is a
and
thick
titties.
plot. Yeah.
It's a thick plot,
It's very
thicker than
thick.
her nipples after that ice bath.
It wasn't,
Oh, jeez.
but I
Just
understand.
cutting stained glass out with that. Yeah, we all had a group. Yay!
Yeah, as soon as they started fucking, we were like,
Yay!
yay.
Well,
Golf
we've-
clap is necessary at some times.
what I paid the $4.15 after tax for. But yeah, so we see throughout this whole fucking scene that Professor X ends up getting this watch with our list on it, and that's like our main.
He kills
we gotta
the,
find.
He kills the guy that killed the guy to get
To
the
get
watch.
this.
Yeah, he
Yes.
killed the guy who killed the guy who killed the guy who got the watch, and
Right,
now
right,
we're
right.
here.
So that's an
with the
extra
watch.
kill the guy.
Yeah, there's too many kills. The
Only
guys.
2 people have died because of the watch yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's studying over this list under a magnifying glass, and he's pouring himself a glass of. Hold on. Let me get my sponsor voice
Get your
on.
sponsor
Yeah.
voice. Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels, you ever come home from work and she's asking why you didn't take the trash out? There's a Jack for that. Jack Daniels, proud sponsor of Atomic Blonde, in theaters in 2017.
Yeah, they literally have a Jack Daniels label just about every like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes.
Oh my god,
at least.
it's more product placement than a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
No, not that far. Not that
Okay.
far.
All right, I
It
may
was in
have
the movie
exaggerated.
5 times.
Okay,
I would give it like 10.
2 cases.
at least
3
there was
bottles.
less American flags.
I'm counting the way the bar was stocked.
Yeah,
As
the
a-
bar
as a-
was stocked with about
that
a
one doesn't
dozen
count.
bottles.
That one doesn't count because
There
that
was-
one everyone
No,
knows.
there was
ridiculous.
one bottle of Jameson and 16 bottles of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, like what the heck?
Like, who wants that much Jack Daniels?
Yeah, like
I like corn mash, so I'll take it.
yeah, it's great, but like we're in Germany and like do they care that much about Jack Daniels? Like that's their preferred brand?
Just, Achtung! Jack Daniels is the best!
Heil Jack
Said
Daniels.
no German ever.
Then why are their bars stocked to the brim with Jack
I
Daniels?
Probably
don't-
because Charlize Theron went and beat the whole West Berlin's ass.
You will serve Jack Daniels in your bar.
Right?
So says America.
There's a stipulation in her CIA contract. I need Jack Daniels everywhere, but I'm only going to drink Stoli on the rocks.
Yeah.
And leave it in a glass not long enough to get cold.
Yeah, she puts ice in it just to take a shot of it, which
Yeah,
I
it
understand.
seems like
Pours
a
it.
waste of ice.
Throws it back, leaves the ice.
Yeah.
Doesn't
It's
even not even a complimentary chew on the ice.
Yeah,
or
no
whatever.
refill either
No
to
swirl
kind of
around
use up
before you
that
sit
ice.
down, nothing.
No, it's oh my god, the amount of vodka and Jack Daniels, I don't understand.
And cigarettes.
But yeah, at this point we're back in the interviews. We're trying to figure out who the Satchel person is. I wrote, who is Satchel? That's how I know that we're trying to figure out
Yeah,
who
yeah,
is
yeah.
Satchel. So we find out James McAvoy might not be as straight as he seems. He's in this like back alley dealing with these KGB guys, being like, I'm the only one who can get you this list. Like you gotta work with me. Like this blonde lady's gonna come and like stab you all.
Is he the one that was like, I have the list memorized?
No, so that's the guy who fucks a pig in The Gentleman.
Oh.
So they start. If you knew your history, you get this. They start peeling back the curtain, the Iron Curtain, if you will.
Yes. Give us another history lesson,
No,
Michael.
no. You can't.
Take us
you
through-
can't handle all this.
Take us through
nonsense.
Russian history.
So they pull back. They start giving the viewer more information at this point.
right.
By the list is now lost after Professor X.
Yes.
So after he gets the list,
Professor X.
the list is now all of a sudden lost. That's why that agent has to come forward.
Yeah, but all right. So this is where I'm going to start asking questions.
Okay.
Okay, so he's in this back alley dealing with these KGB, saying, "I'll get you the list. I'm the only one who can get you the list."
Right.
But James McAvoy has the list.
Yeah, he's
it's on
already
this
got the
watch.
list.
He's already claimed it. He goes and turns it in to MI6.
Right.
So this is where I got confused on what side he's on. Like, is he working for MI6? Like, he's purposely trying to turn over the list?
Well,
or-
he does work for MI6, but you see throughout that he is trying to cause more chaos and damage than do his duty to any particular
Yeah,
crime.
because he's not like relaying
He
any of this
shoots-
info to
He shoots
Charlize.
the soldiers, lights a car on fire, drives it up to the wall, like at a security checkpoint. Like he does all these things. Like, what are you doing? And he's pulling the bodies out of the trunk and putting them on the sidewalk in front of the embassy. He's like, "Oh, I'm sending a message to whatever."
Right.
So he
Yeah.
does that several times in the film, which is like he's now looser to a particular crown and more towards his sex cause of
Right.
hey, me and my group of people on this side of the wall, fuck them, we're making their lives miserable,
Okay.
we're
Okay.
trying to play games with the big companies meddling, or the big countries meddling in our affairs.
Right.
This is between East and West Berlin, and there was that where back then the smaller information groups would try to keep the big guys out.
Right,
And
which
so
makes
that's why he's
sense.
like just causing havoc. But he was more of a rebel for the cause. He got too caught up in the cause than the mission.
Right.
Because
Okay.
they made a point to show him several times just being chaos
Yeah.
for no reason other than making someone else feel
Right,
something.
but it definitely took a while to realize what his whole
Yeah.
Like,
he was
was-
very ambiguous on his
Yeah,
goal
it took a while
for a
to
while,
kind of
for
uncover
sure,
this whole
for sure.
plot that he had. But yeah, so the movie keeps going. We're still uncovering more and more secrets. Charlize Theron is still getting more and more information kind of like leaked to her through this.
And I
this
gotta say,
photographer
I'm
girl.
not paying attention to any of it. So
right.
I'm just waiting for the action and the titties.
Yeah, so
Action in the titties.
she pieces together what's going on because she'll
Right.
get a tit from here, a tat from there, a tidbit, from this
Yeah.
guy, and
But-
work some stuff and also beat some stuff out of
Yeah,
people.
so it eventually works up to this point where she's trying to get Pigfucker out of the city.
right,
Um,
right.
Now,
Her and Professor X
yeah,
try to, make a compromise with the deal. So they compromise with his plan, but her contact to get the paperwork.
and we should say this pig guy. I forget his name in the actual movie, but he apparently memorized
Memorize
the
list.
entire list, so that's why
That's
he's like an important player.
Right. So when
So they're trying to get him out
the
safely.
list goes, it's the list is MIA. Well, this guy had it. This guy had it. Well, neither one of those guys has it.
Yeah,
so
this guy
somebody
has
else
it
we don't know.
memorized, so we
he
need
has
him.
it memorized.
Yeah, so they're trying to sneak him out of the city, and this is where we kind of find out James McAvoy isn't dealing so straight. He ends up shooting this guy,
Right.
which
Yeah.
sends Charlize Theron on the run.
Yeah, that was the cool scene where the snipers were trying to get them, and then
Yeah.
everybody put their umbrellas up to like be a visual
Yeah,
shield.
it's-
And I don't know how they coordinated that.
So
It's awesome.
it doesn't matter how they coordinate it. Her contact that got him the papers was in charge of it because you see him with all the umbrellas
Yeah.
in the scene before.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
She wasn't
okay,
supposed to make
okay.
the plan. His plan, her contact. Well, her contact altered the plan because she knew he was going to try to fuck her.
Okay.
So,
okay.
and that's why she took the mirror off the car and immediately was looking up because she had already scouted the location.
Right,
That's
she
where
already
the guy
knew
with the
where
gun's going to be.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
us coming out of this entrance.
So this
and
guy,
that's why he had to shoot the guy.
yeah,
Because the sniper was supposed to shoot him.
right,
The first kill, the confirmed kill, the first kill is always a confirmed kill. That had to be the guy. Because
Yeah.
now he has the list and he could sell it and
right,
give it to whoever he wants, and there's only one copy and he has the only copy.
right.
Right, right.
And
So
then if they can kill her, they kill her
Yeah,
too.
and-
That's why she was the second person he
Right.
shot at.
So yeah, so he gets shot by James McAvoy, and Charlize is like, all right, we got to get you out of here. So she takes him into this, like, I guess it's in like an apartment building,
Just a regular
Yeah.
building.
and she hears that there's like KGB agents on the top floor. So she tells the guy who got shot, like, stay here. I'm about to go beat some ass.
And this is the start. Steve just dropped his notebook.
Yep.
This is the start of like a 20-minute, maybe I'd
Yeah,
say, sequence.
it's insane.
Where they're doing everything that it's supposed to look like it's one cut. Obviously, there are clear places where they're clipping things together, but like
it's all intentionally fluid
Yeah.
on purpose, and you feel the same level of holy shit
Yeah.
the whole time, and they give
Yeah.
you small pauses of respite where they're like, okay, everybody breathe,
Right.
all right.
you feel the
Kick up the
actual time of how long
The-
it took
the
her
cadence-
to murder like 7 people.
The cadence of survival was
Yeah.
captured very well.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if anyone
Cadence.
listening has seen the Daredevil hallway fight scenes, where they kind of make
That
it seem
was
like it's
way
one
better than
take, and like they kind of hide cuts throughout there. Like I will say, this was probably better than all of those. She was beating ass. She's taking hits. She's giving it right back. Like she's throwing these guys downstairs,
And
like
getting
these
tossed
250-pound
downstairs. Yeah,
people,
oh, yeah.
like it's nothing. But they're also throwing her around.
Yeah, and that whole scene is really cool with, you know, again, the way she uses her environment and everything, but she uses like gravity and the stairs to
Has
her
to.
advantage, where she
Momentum.
knows she can kick a dude in the chest and knock him back a step, and that pushes him off, you know, a set of stairs, and that temporarily knocks him down while she deals with the guy that's in front of her. Yeah, and the whole one shot thing goes from the apartment building outside to the car, and there's a whole like
There's a whole
car
nother
fight
car
scene.
chase.
You think
Yeah.
the car chase is over, car accident, holy crap, I survived.
And it's still going.
Another
like-
car accident
Yeah.
into the water.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And like during the scene, like she gets knocked into the water. The pig guy ends up dying.
Yeah.
I can't
He
keep
bleeds
calling him
out.
pig guy.
Oh wait, yeah, no, he's in the car with her.
Yeah.
And they both drive into a lake or
Yeah, they get
Whatever.
hit into a lake.
Yeah, they get in a car.
And
one thing about that sequence is just like any like fighting sport or wrestling match, they start out tall, standing at full height, and their center of gravity as they go down the stairs gets lower and lower and lower as their energy level gets lower and lower and lower, because a stronger base when you're tired is more important. And that's how she used momentum and gravity and their centers of gravity by keeping a wide base. And as someone that knows a little bit about fighting, her center of gravity was always lower than the guys. That's why she was always thrown down and not picked up and rammed into stuff. And there's a couple times in the film where she's actually lifted off the ground and put into shelving when they're fresh. At, you know, as they fight, standing up to now they're in a fighting stance with, you know, bent knees and things like that, is because they need the proper stance, because they don't
Right.
have the energy to correct small weight mistakes.
I thought it was just because they were hurt and they were like, I gotta get
That was
low.
kind of nifty. And that's when she started arm dragging the shit out of everyone. Her center of gravity was lower, and she started tossing people, you know, over
Yeah.
her shoulder. That's the only way you can do that.
It's
Right.
like
You
pulling
can't pull a
them
full
down.
grown
Yeah.
man over your shoulder standing up with your
Right.
knees straight. You have to have your center of gravity
Yeah.
lower.
you tell me you can't just like lift with your
No,
back, take
you
your
really
knees out
can't.
of the equation.
And not if they outweigh you by 60 pounds.
The trick is to use an upward jerking motion. Take your legs completely out of the
Lift
equation.
with your back in a twisting, jerking motion, and your enemies will befall.
And you can toss that 260-pound man like
Yep.
it's nothing.
You're not moving him unless he's already going in that direction.
But yeah, so the whole one shot leads to that car chase. They get hit, and they're now in a lake or some body of water. The pig guy ends up dying because his foot's trapped under the car wreckage.
Yeah, she tries. He holds his breath for like 30 seconds and
Yeah,
he was
well,
bleeding
I
pretty
also
bad.
have written that
he had a gut shot.
Yeah.
The whole time she was
Yeah.
fighting, and he managed to follow her
Yeah.
throughout the fight, and then when she got down bad, create some separation
Right.
once, and that's the only time she needed.
But
to tell.
like, I will say, Charlize must have like Aquaman lungs or something, because she held her breath, I think, longer than that one shot scene. Like,
I
she must
mean-
have super lungs.
No, it was probably like
it wasn't
a minute.
It wasn't
or
that bad.
Minute and a half.
But she's also the best trained coming out of America. Therefore
Right, I'm
the
sure
best.
they
So
trained-
Yeah,
suck my
but
dick, Germany.
I guess
basically?
I guess I'm so used to like maybe being able to hold my breath for like a couple seconds before
Yeah,
I'm
but-
like,
No,
oh, I gotta go breathe.
if she's a trained spy, she's going to be trained for interrogations if she ever gets caught by somebody. Like, she's
You could-
probably been waterboarded before. Like, you know, like, she probably went through a lot of...
So she's like more
intense
powerful than Michael
Not
Phelps.
power,
yeah,
but
because
just
he plays
trained.
sports and she kills people for her job.
Yeah.
That's The
Listen,
training
she's
is different.
trained,
The
yeah.
training is different,
Sometimes in the
MI6, what do you
Olympics
think
you
they're
gotta
doing?
kill a guy.
right?
You gotta get that gold.
I'm pretty sure they have to hold their breath for like a certain number of minutes just to be MI6.
Yeah, it's like 3
Well, I mean,
minutes.
James
fully
Bond
loaded
was
in
MI6.
freezing cold water.
Yeah.
They try to almost drown everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
look at Skyfall. James Bond is MI6. He goes into a frozen lake.
James Bond is dead.
He is not dead.
He died.
Don't you spoil it. I didn't see that movie yet.
Well, that's on you. It's been out for a year.
I was gonna save it for the podcast.
I'm trying to read your notes.
Which is
I don't
what
know
we're
what this
doing
quote
right
is.
now.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, we're after the car chase, the guy dies underwater. She comes up. We end up cutting to this like monologue from James McAvoy,
Oh, yeah.
and this seems to be like the last like 15-20 minutes of the movie because he's given
Right,
this
it's
kind of
a-
like my villainous final
it's a-
monologue.
Yeah.
Final understanding.
And
Can
like
we salvage the cover up
Yeah.
by
Right.
James McAvoy killing the biker chick? She sees the dead biker chick.
Mm-hmm.
Revenge.
Yeah, but
Plots a way to make it all work out
Yeah.
and still keep the CIA winning
Right.
with the only copy of the list.
And he was like looking right at the camera, so
Yeah.
it felt like he was breaking the fourth wall.
But he
and he
says,
asked a question.
Yeah, so he says you can't unfuck what's been fucked. Women are always getting in the way of progress. Like, I guess.
That
Not
was
what he
during the-
looked at the camera and
Yeah,
said.
that was during the,
I bet
the fighting.
He
thing,
was
I
talking
think.
about the point of all of
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, so that was the beginning of his monologue, and then he keeps going throughout it, and then he gets to the end where he's like, who won, and,
Oh, yeah,
what was
that's
the
what I
game.
what was the game?
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
like,
Which is something he says a couple of times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because, like, the more I kind of think about it, he's dropping hints, like, that he's crooked the whole time. Because,
Yeah.
like, he tells her at the beginning of the movie, what was it? He's like, if I wanted to spy on you, you'd never even know.
Right.
So then, she, of course, finds out he was spying on him.
Well,
Yeah, she
Her
finds
Honor.
she
the-
realizes that he's trying to do the same thing she's doing. Is
Yeah.
control it before any of the markers were on the board.
Right.
And he put a bug in her jacket or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lapel of her jacket. Classic bug spot
Yeah.
for
Didn't check
1985
the
when it's
lapel.
this
How
big.
he managed to get it inside of the lapel and then, like, sew it back up.
Oh, if you don't tear the clothing, are you?
Yeah, but is he carrying around?
Bugged? Are
Is
you
he
even
carrying
bugged?
around a sewing kit?
Yes.
He's in the middle of
Yeah,
like
he would have had
war-torn
one
Germany.
if he was going to sew in a bug.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Then he would have.
No, that is the most unbelievable thing. Like he's
What, that a man can
cross stitching.
sew?
I can sew.
Well, I don't want to.
She wasn't wearing the jacket. The point of showing her finding the bug was she puts down the jacket she was wearing and picks up the jacket she was wearing previously. So that shows that she leaves that jacket out. So while
Right.
she was off doing something, he came to her apartment because they made a big point of her. How the fuck did you get in here?
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, if I wanted to be following you, like you wouldn't know," type thing.
Yeah.
He had already planted
Oh.
that bug because he already knew she was
And he
coming.
already stitched
He already
it
knew where she would
closed.
stay because she gave him 76 apartment number and she was in 16, and he
Yeah,
made
he
a
said
point
that.
of saying that as
Okay.
like I knew what you said and I knew where you were going ahead of time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
he-
she checks for the bugs after.
He did always seem kind of sus.
Yeah, he's
Just
very
A little
sus.
bit. A little bit.
But yeah, so he ends up killing the photographer motorcycle lady.
Oh yeah, he comes in and strangles. So she's working with him though. We find out at the end, right?
They were on in the same intelligence.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was trying
She
to
was fresh.
uncover him.
My guess is he recommended her or manipulated her to do that because they seem to know each other pretty well.
Yeah.
And he knew that he could win if he could manipulate one of the pawns.
Yeah, but then she at one point was like, "Yeah, screw this! I'm not doing this anymore." Kind of.
Right.
Thing.
Yeah.
Which couldn't have been part of his plan because
Right.
he
And so-
killed her.
Yeah, he
so
was like, "Well, fuck
rashly.
you,
It
bitch! I'm gonna
was-
come strangle you then."
Yeah.
It looked like a rash thing because he was wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Where the other professionals, when they go to kill the Atomic Blonde,
They have the plastic. They have the gloves. None of them are wearing masks.
Yeah, like they're ready to
You
go.
know, that was.
Yeah,
the
so then she goes to Paris after.
Yeah, so
Beating
you
him
know,
up.
we cut back to the interview, and she kind of reveals that James McAvoy was the rat the whole time.
She shot him.
Yeah,
In the
and
face
she well,
in the chest.
this is before that.
Oh.
But she, kind of reveals he's the thing, and they're like, "Oh, well, you better have hard proof." And then it cuts back to
She has the pictures
Yeah.
that she got from the girl. The biker chick sent her those photos.
Yeah.
Knowing, and I feel like this is a kind of a nod to, yeah, she's the new girl. She understood she was getting played,
yeah.
and she picked a side and
Yeah.
influenced that
Well,
side
I mean,
in winning.
I gotta be
Because
honest.
those photos she knew, even though she was inexperienced, I feel like she could see the picture, the big
Yeah.
picture,
Yeah.
and was like, if I want her to win, this is how I guarantee it.
Right.
I know she knew she was in over her head the
Well,
whole time.
I'll be honest. You offer me lesbian sex, I'll be on your team too.
Yeah, is that all you
She had
want?
taken those pictures before they hooked up.
Exactly,
That's
but
true.
she knew they were gonna hook up. Like you could see it in her eyes. She's like, "I'm gonna
You
get
could
that."
see it in her eyes.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Charlize Theron.
Theron Pousset.
Theron.
Theron.
Theron. I want the Theron.
All right, so she shoots the guy.
Yeah,
Goes
so
to Paris.
so she kills James McAvoy, and then we cut to 3 weeks later. She's in Paris.
She's healed a good bit.
Yeah, she's cleaning up the rest of these
And
KGB agents.
She probably
essentially.
used whatever makeup Amber Heard uses.
Right, and
Oh my god.
To be honest,
She's
probably
shitting
used
in
the same
beds.
makeup that they
yeah,
didn't
it covers
have
swelling.
out in that year.
Yeah,
To cover up
covers
the
that
bruise.
cut in your lip. You know,
Yeah, yeah. But this also happens after the interview because they're like, "All right, we're done here," and
Yeah, they decide they're going to sweep this whole mission under the rug. Typical
Yes.
Americans, always sweeping things under the rug.
Sure.
Yeah, because we're in control, therefore we
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah, you can just sweep things under the rug.
Walk up in the club.
But yeah,
fuck
so
everybody.
she goes to Paris.
Zola and John Goodman leave the room, and then she flies. It cuts to the 3 weeks later, and she's in Paris, and she goes up to this hotel room, and she hands what we think is the list to one of these Russian guys, one of the KGB guys, and is like, "Oh, we were working together the whole time." So I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck? She was a
Well,
Russian the whole
yeah,
time."
so before she gets on the plane, like this is part of her revenge. Is I think the only reason she went and did all this extra stuff
Yeah.
was because she was like, that girl didn't need to die.
Yeah.
I'm done with this. I need to tie off all the loose ends.
Oh, so she's killing
that's why
everybody.
you know she had been planning this for a long time with the CIA, because that fella that she gives the fake watch to, he thinks she's working for him.
Yeah. Because
And
she's like this triple agent.
yeah,
apparently.
and there's only two of them in the room.
Yeah.
So he knows about her enough to not sleep with her,
Yeah.
which means he knows about the biker chick.
Yeah, because apparently James McAvoy told him
Yeah. So
that she was like
so he knows
an
that
agent.
side,
Yeah.
but he doesn't know the other side and like the 17 agents she killed to get
No,
there.
thank you.
You know what I mean? So thanks for that, Steve.
Yeah,
Right
just
in the middle of my
burping in the
good
microphone.
point.
I couldn't help it. It
You can fucking
happens.
go do it somewhere else.
Oh, sorry. I'll get up and
Not in
burp
the middle
in the
of
bathroom.
my points.
But
Not-
yeah,
not my
so-
awesome points.
Yeah, so this is the end of the movie.
Yeah,
she gets her revenge on these Russians.
Well, the guy is like, "Oh no, I am gonna kill you," because she says to him like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna kill me," and he's like, "Yeah, I am."
She
And he
makes
sends
fun
the
of him
guys
for not drinking,
Yeah.
which is also very gangster, because she pours a shot and he doesn't want one.
Yeah.
She throws hers back, and then in his face
right.
as like, "You pussy."
Yeah. And then she
Just a twang.
bullet times everybody and shoots them all in the head.
Well,
Yeah.
they weren't expecting that from an employee,
Yeah.
because they all thought she worked for him, so they weren't expecting violence.
yeah.
So when she had that,
Tucked a gun up in the
that's why
icebox.
she offered to pour the drink, because there's a gun next to the
In the
bottle.
ice.
So if he looks in that thing, he sees the firearm.
Oh, okay.
Because they use the good ice.
All
for
right,
this
so
film.
now it's all
They use
making
good
sense.
ice for this film the whole time.
Yeah, so that's how it ends. She gets in the shootout with these KGB agents and kills them all, and she's like, "I'm done. You know, I'm gonna
Yep.
go be a different
I want my
Atomic
life
Blonde.
back.
I'm gonna go
Shoots
see
him
you in the
direct-
sequel."
Because she hits him in the neck
Yeah.
in the fight,
Yeah.
and she's like, "I want to get this through your thick skull. You know, you worked for me. I didn't work for you."
Yeah,
And
like
then
every bit of
and then
intelligence
just
I gave you
shoots
was
him in the face
Right in
and
the
walks out.
yeah,
And then they
most gangster way to go out.
that was the only time they showed her cleaning herself off.
Yeah,
Which was like, okay, I'm washing my
done.
hands of this. I'm
Yeah,
cleaning
like, I'm
the
done.
slate. I'm done.
Oh,
with this.
okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's a good.
She gets on the. Yeah,
That's a
I'm
nice
Insightful, Shane. You fucking piece of shit. You fucking
Oh,
piece
yeah.
of shit.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Shane, I apologize if you're listening.
No. I'm insightful. I see everything.
Well, I gotta say, overall, I didn't catch most of what was going on, and it felt kind of slow at times. But overall, it was like good for the action.
Yeah,
I mean,
what would you give it? Would you recommend it?
if you like action movies that are very involved with all these subplots,
An action
and shit,
movie where you almost need to watch it more than once.
Yeah,
right, then yeah, sure.
like one of them spy
But
thrillers.
Right.
The acting's good.
It
The
is.
violence is good. The choreography is top notch.
I love all the film making and like, you
The-
know.
Yeah, the camera work
The
is
camera work.
fantastic.
Camera work, the direction in this was amazing.
I liked all of the lighting. Like, I noticed a lot of times they would use like different colors, or different, like, you know, when she was like in her apartment, it was kind of like a dark bluish kind of color, and you know, it made her feel really kind of like torn down and exhausted, and they did that a lot throughout the film, where they would use like reds or like, you know, sorry Michael, you're colorblind. I guess you didn't notice that.
Jesus.
But yeah, like they used color in that sense to show emotion a lot of times.
Yeah, it
but-
didn't. I couldn't notice at all.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like the lighting didn't change.
Yeah, the
But
saturation.
they made it dingy when it needed to
Yes.
be dingy.
Yeah.
And then dark with bright accents to punctuate like a little trickery.
Yeah.
Most of the club, the bars, even the streets, some of the graffiti would pop out.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Or, like,
They
it'd be,
made it
like,
rough when it needed to be
The
rough.
dark bar with like the bright
The neons
the neon
behind it with
lights,
the
yeah.
grass and yeah.
Yeah.
So they did
So-
a lot. They did a lot of that. And I think they did it well to capture not only the technology of the time. It was, you know, there was no. It was all, you know,
Yeah.
filament light bulbs from the '80s, which were all frosted. So none of it was really bright,
right.
and it was a movie about a blonde, and none of it was really bright.
One other thing that I thought was really cool, in that last scene, she's wearing like a sleeveless dress, and you can see like those bruises that are like 3 weeks old, but like just barely there, and they were done really well. So it wasn't just like, you know, the actively bleeding makeup that they did, but also those like half-healed sort of things. Like you could see the stages of her
Yeah.
healing from all of that, and it was kind of cool
Yeah,
to notice that.
How they conveyed the passage of time, I think, was good throughout the whole film.
Yeah, like
And
you could
then,
tell how beat up she was, like where you were in the film. Like when she didn't have anything yet, you're like, oh, this is the beginning. And then you see like, you know, you see her at her worst when she's done
And then
all of that.
You see the stages to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was clear and definitive stages of like this major conflict, this major conflict, this major. There's evidence of it throughout, and they did a good job with that, and they also did a good job with each kind of new, not mini storyline, but each kind of scene or day had a different outfit. Like she was always wearing something different,
Right.
Yeah.
and it helped. Like the border guard, you'll be arrested if you're not back by 6, and then the watchmaker, come back tomorrow at close. So it clearly showed days passing.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And she says earlier in the film, I'm going to need to be here for at least another week. And then they
Oh,
show
okay.
like
So we kinda get a timeline.
6 or 7 more outfits. So it was like,
Right.
And then they show that meeting with John Goodman where she's like, I understand the imperative nature of the mission, and I understand the timeline, the necessity of the timeline. And then it showed like 5 or 6 outfits. So they, John Goodman was clearly thrilled with the, outcome of it on the plane ride home. They're sitting next to each other in private class, on a private jet, and he's playing with the information that people died for.
Yeah.
So clearly he's satisfied with the result, which was also pretty neat.
Yeah, just to wrap it up. So it seems like we'd all kind of recommend this movie.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
It's one of the action films where the second time you watch it isn't to see the cool fight on the roof with the motorcycle. Mm-hmm. It's to understand the story more.
Yeah.
Most action movies don't have a story, and you just want to see the guy's head get bounced off the mirror twice.
Yeah, that's why you watch an Arnold movie. For the fight. But I would definitely want to watch it again to get more of that plot, because it was definitely very confusing. But also, at the same time, I gotta be honest, I don't know if I'd want to watch it again. Just because of all of that. I don't know. It's a little much for me. I kind of would rather have an action movie that's just for the action. I do wish there was a little more action, honestly, even though there was a lot, and it was great quality. Like, it felt slow in between. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was.
But then there's a 17-minute scene of only.
I would say if you like James Bond type of films where they're trying to solve the mystery, they're doing detective work throughout, this might be more of a movie for you.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for more of just a straight up bounce your head off a wall,
then don't pay attention to the words at all.
Yeah, this probably wouldn't be the best action movie for you. Yeah. But it's got some great scenes. It's got some good female led action that we don't really get that much. But I would say it's a solid watch it if you got the time and if you're into kind of those spy thriller movies.
Yeah.
Right. If you like a twisty plot.
Yeah, and everybody's double crossing each other.
Backstabbing.
Yeah,
for
sure. The typical, we work for the British government and everyone betrays each other.
Are you doing a French accent?
Yeah, French are basically
French for
British.
the British.
Yeah.
Yep. Didn't insult millions of
and
people.
And if nothing else, you can watch it for the lesbian pool.
Hell yeah. Anyway.
Very softcore.
Any final closing notes?
The tub scenes were more graphic than the sex scene. But
no,
not really.
No,
I was just glad the amount of rounds fired were realistic.
Right.
The amount of bobbled reloads.
Yes, Michael likes to be technical with that shit.
I'm sorry. If I'm getting shot at, I'm not gonna be as accurate as if I have headphones on standing at a shooting range.
Yeah.
It's you're not getting them in the 10 ring when someone's throwing lead past you. It's just not happening. You're in hallways. You shoot to create separation to gain better positioning.
All right, Michael.
What you do.
All right,
tactical.
That's what you do.
All right, tactical experience aside. From everyone here at
what are we? What?
Absolutely.
What is the name of our podcast?
From everyone here at Every Film in the Book.
There you go.
Took me a little bit.
We are Every Film in the Book.
Every Film in the Book.
And that's going to wrap it up for Atomic Blonde.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, we set up a Twitter, we set up an Instagram, we have an email. It's all on our Anchor page, and it's all on Spotify.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, give us a follow and all that. Listen to our stuff. Tell us what you think. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
For whatever movie we decide.
Bye.
Shut